Hey guys, it's Rachel from The Little Ring Lamb, and today I'm doing a requested video. I forget who requested this, so if you did, you can tell me down below, and I'll put your name in the description box. I forgot which video it was requested on, but basically it is the top favorite books, or like your favorite books of all time. And I have so many books that are my favorites, and even my favorites of like all time, but I have 3 books that really like are the ones that I couldn't live without on my shelf. Like if I had to have a bookshelf, and it had to be filled with books, these are the 3 that I'd go for first. But I have a lot of other favorite books like that I could put around. Like not all the books on my shelves are my favorite, but I do quite a few. This is just a small fraction. Like when somebody out in public asks me what my favorite books are, these are the ones I typically list. But if you guys want to see a more comprehensive list where I say like other books, like for example Slam by Colleen Hoover and like the Princess Diaries series and stuff like that, definitely let me know and I can do that in the future. So anyway, as I said before, I had 3 books, so I'm going to kind of explain a little bit of maybe the synopsis of the books and talk about why they are my favorites specifically. So the first book on this list is The Castaways by Elin Hilderbrand. Now, I first picked this up when I was 13 years old, so I've had it for 7 years, going on 8 years, and I remember I got it at Costco when me and my mom were shopping, and I think I was off for the school year. I just finished grade 8. This book is about 4 couples, and out of those 4 couples, one of the couples dies, and it's surrounding the mystery of how they died, and all the characters really dealing with their grief. And this is the first, I keep saying Elin Hilderbrand, so I'm really sorry about that. Elin Hilderbrand. It's just how it's spelled. I associate that with Elin, not Ellen. Anyway, this is the first book I've read from hers, and from her like book selection, and absolutely loved it. And I definitely went out and picked up more of her books. I've read most of her books by now, and I really enjoy them. They're great beach reads, but they do deal serious topics, so they have that great element and mix and balance to them. And this book just, I don't know, it just took me by surprise. Like I didn't expect to be in love with it as much as I am. But I haven't reread it since, I think I haven't read it in 4 years or 5 years, which seems kind of weird. I think it was 4 or 3 years actually. I haven't reread it for. I think the last time I reread it was my first year of BookTube, so we're going on I think 4 years of me not reading this. I really want to pick it up soon. It's just I've been really behind on her new releases, so as soon as I get those, I can't read too many of her books all at once though. Like I have to pace myself. But I just really enjoyed this book. Like it really got me into more adult fiction. There's other adult fiction authors I've already loved, like Sylvie Kinsella. Like some of her books are some of my favorites too. But this one just took me by surprise, so that's really why it's on the list. And also it's one that a lot of people haven't heard of, and I always recommend it. But I think it's a really good book. Typically my favorite books are books that are really not popular books, but they have something special to me. My second favorite book is Flawless by Sarah Shepard, the second book in the Pretty Liars series. Now this is one of my favorite series of all times because it's really good. It has such sentimental meaning to me. But the second book especially, I was going to the bookshop to pick up another book in the Privileged or Private series, I can't quite remember which one it is, by Kate Bryan, and the book wasn't there, and then I saw this because, like, you know, how can you not see a neon orange cover, and I picked it up, and I remember I wanted to buy a book that day because I just finished my last book and I was like, what the hey, and I didn't realize this was the second book until like I looked in the inside, like because I just read the back of it. And this book kind of, you can read it before the first book because it's pretty much, the first 2 books really set up the premise, and the prologue really sets it up too. So I remember reading it and I was like, oh my gosh, this is so good. And I kept reading until the 4th book. I don't know right away if I got the 5th book. I don't think it was out yet. But as soon as the 5th book released, and then I went back, I think, and read the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, and 5th over again. But I just love this book series. If you don't know, the series is pretty popular because of the TV show. Basically, it's about a group of 5 best friends. One of their friends disappears, and then years later, the death of their friend is still surrounding them, and they're all kind of reunited by a tormentor named A. And it's so many sentimental reasons I love this book, and I just remember being like, I was 12 when I read these books, so I just remember being like, this is so scary and like scandalous, and like, because obviously I didn't have a lot of exposure to more grown-up literature because these people are 16. I was like, whoa, that's like so old, which to me now it's like, that's so young. Yeah, I just absolutely loved it. And it was kind of my first foray into the YA genre. And then the last book on my list is one that's more recent, but I've actually read this book I think 4 times over, and this is going my 5th. I'm currently rereading it right now, very slowly mind you, but the book I'm talking about is Dying to Know You by Aidan Chambers. Now you can tell by all my sticky notes that I have a lot of quotes I really love. I really just want to get another copy of this book so I can underline and highlight all my favorite quotes. This book is not very popular. On Goodreads it has like a 3, and people are like whine about it and complain because the synopsis on the back doesn't really tell you what it's really about. But I was just going for a time and I needed this in my life. It's a very emotional experience. It's not, if you're an action fan, don't pick it up because you're not going to like it. But if you like a contemporary where the characters really have more than one dimension, you really get to know more about the human, I was going to say psychology, maybe that word might fit in, but the human psychology, and see like Carl goes through a time and like it's really interesting. It has a great twist ending. It's a very short, very fast read. If you can see, the font's not too big. And it has a beautiful cover. It's just, I read it and I fell in love with it. And like, out of all these books that I just talked about, this is like, if somebody usually asks me what my favorite book is, I just want to list one, I usually say this one because not a lot of people have heard of it. Real shame. But this book just, I love it so much. Like, it also delves into like philosophical elements, and my major does deal with philosophy. Philosophy is one of my favorite subjects. When I took it in grade 12, I fell in love with it. And I love this book so much. Like, I can't even explain why. Like, after I finish reading it, I just want to reread it again. So I can tell it's my favorite by that. I'm just like, when I first read it and I saw the twist ending, I was like, whoa, let me go back to the beginning there. And every single time gets me, and I just want to reread it right after I've read it, which is kind of weird because I'm one of those people that even like with TV shows or books, I have to wait a while before rewatching. Like, my sister can rewatch episodes. Like, she rewatches iCarly episode 30 times in 1 month. It was so annoying because I was like, I've seen this, like I know what's going to happen. But I'm not one of those people that can do that. So for a book to really take me by storm like that, and just the messages, and I love all the characters, and they are so dimensional, and I can relate to Fiorella, Carl, and the author, and like everybody, and like, it just gives me so many messages, gives me the feels. Love it. Not a lot of action happens, but it's more action dealing with people's relationships with others and all that, and just, I can't stop gushing about it, so I'm going to stop before I get on an even more bigger tangent. But yes, those are my top 3 favorite books. Definitely let me know some of your favorite books in the comments below. I'd be really interested in hearing that. And I want to thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys later. Bye.